Welcome back to the Shop Mini RC, everybody. I'm Ken, and today we are looking at the new Hobby Plus Furitek Collaboration CR18P 2024 edition. This guy's got a bunch of different upgrades. We're going to check them out. There's a whole list of specs here on the side. We got the Rushmore in red. This thing looks awesome. And then right here, here's some of the upgrades and features. Basically, they've got 60 millimeter, 1.2 inch Mutter MT tires. They've also got a upgraded heavy duty plastic drive shaft, which is good because the previous drive shaft seemed to break a lot. I saw a lot of that in the groups. They're using the Evo transmission, the same as the FX118, all Metal Gear transmission, single speed. It's also got oil-filled big bore shocks, servo on axle, the Furitek Venom Outrunner brushless motor, and Furitek Lizard ESC. Now, this doesn't say it, but it's the Lizard Lite, so we'll dive into that and check that out. It's also got the new rear axle housings, which allows you to flip the diff for counter rotation, but I think this comes already installed with counter rotating, the counter rotation set up, so you're going to have no torque twist, well, anti-torque twist, basically. Could maybe still have some torque twist. I don't know, it'll torque twist the other way, but generally speaking, it should completely eliminate torque twist unless you've got binding or tons of power, I guess. Full Metal Gear transmission, but I think they mean full drivetrain. It's got the gearbox, the front, and the rear axle. Should be all Metal Gears, so that's going to be awesome. And then a new aluminum chassis with the 5-degree angle motor mount. So that's going to be similar to the new FX118, the Katana, with the angled skid and the Evo Pro. So that's awesome. It says newly developed shocks and link geometry. I'm not sure how that's different. Front and rear high clearance portals and a large steering angle up to 45 degrees. So some pretty awesome stats there, guys. I'm excited to get into this. Let's go. Here we go. Go ahead and dive into this guy. Obviously, we've got the remote that we're all familiar with, but because we're on a Furitek system, these dip switches don't do anything. However, your dual rates and your trims for steering and throttle will both do stuff, so will your throttle reverse and steering reverse. Okay, you also have a channel 3 and a channel 4. We have lights, just a basic light setup, front and rear. We're using the RAP BS R4P BS receivers. That's basically the same receiver that's in all of the Hobby Plus and Furitek RTRs that are binding to this guy here. If it's got the Furitek system in it. It's not a 2-in-1 combo. This is the new Lizard Lite. Okay. So the Lizard Lite does not have the Bluetooth module. That's one of the big differences here. It's using this card now. It's going to help bring the cost down, but this card will plug in. You basically unplug your receiver port here, and you'll plug it in here, and then you'll be able to program it. We'll take a look at that later. We are running on the Venom motor, which is the standard motor for all the Furitek RTRs with the Hobby Plus platform. Same old Hobby Plus underneath, except we've got a little bit beefier drive shafts, they claim. They look the same though. Maybe a little beefier. Hold on. Let me go grab one of the other ones. Well, here's one of the original CR18Ps. You can see the drive shaft there. So it is different than that drive shaft. Definitely beefier than the original CR18Ps. We also have CR18P Evo, which is the 2-speed transmission, but also the same shafts as that rock van. So these are definitely bigger here. And then here's the CR18P Evo Pro. And it looks like we're using the same drive shafts as the Evo Pro. So beefier than the original Evos, but same as the Evo Pro, which you can see here. We already broke one. So we do have a little bit of weight on this guy, but still. Just be aware, that's probably something you'll have to replace at some point as the drive shaft. But usually on these ready to runs, that's kind of a thing. Some people like to leave them as the plastic because that's their weak point, easy to change, but just depends on how you want to do it. Easy fix though, easy fix. It's using the same shocks as the Evo Pro. Pretty much, everything's very similar on the Evo Pro. Let's go ahead and open this guy up too. We'll just compare it. So it is a different chassis. Looks like the chassis sits much higher for shock mounting purposes. You can see it mostly in the rear here. You can see how high the shock mounts are. You do have more shock mounts. Maybe not. Oh, you know what? Yeah, no, it's the same. You have 6. You actually have more on the Evo Pro. Interesting way of doing the chassis though. I'm surprised I didn't just use the Evo Pro chassis here, because the body mounts, they could swap over to the Evo Pro. It's the same body mounts here, just with the taller, because the SUV. Interesting though, for sure. Both have the angled skid though, so that's good. Definitely not as aggressive on the shock mounting angles, but you could move your shocks out to here. You'll just need some nuts to put on the back, because these screw straight into these kind of shock tower body mounts, and they're threaded, whereas if you put it into the chassis itself, you'll need a nut. But I do like that there's the adjustability there. It's very cool. I do like that the electronics are forward mounted, kind of on a plate here. I wish they would have put the battery up here. There's no reason they couldn't have had this tray up here in the front. Maybe we'll see if we can move this tray to the front. I wonder if it would mount right in there and tuck underneath. Should be close. Maybe we'll mess with that. What else we got? That 600 milliamp hour 2S LiPo. If you're going to be comping this guy, you'll probably want to get a smaller battery, maybe a 300 milliamp, just a lot more thin. That's what the Pro actually comes with. The Evo Pro comes with a 300. Same servo on the front. All the same links as the Evo Pro. Same wheelbase. Smaller tires, but that's good. I thought the Evo Pro tires were a little too big. And these guys, 60 millimeters. I wish they were 57s. They would keep you in class 2. Actually, yeah, class 2? No, class 1 for RCMCCA. So let's see, you can go up to 64s in class 2. We have the angled skid, so that puts us in a class 2 actually on this guy. So they could have gone up to 64s, but 60s are good, especially with this body. You could probably get some 64s under there with minimal trimming. Yeah. If you wanted to go a little bit bigger on the tire, I think you'll be fine there. I do like these sliders to help keep the body tucked. If you wanted to fit them into the sliders there, you can. Or you just let them sit outside. Either way, I dig that. I wish that the mounting system was a little different, right? I wish that instead of using body clips, they were using magnets or some sort of a clip system, clipless system. Looks like we're using the same bumper as the Harvester, the CR18P Evo. What else? Like I said, oil-filled shocks, so that's good. It's supposed to be all metal gears. That reverse rotation shaft here. So all previous models, including the Evo Pro, you can see here that shaft is coming out of the passenger side, or driver's side. So on the Pro, comes out over here. On this new guy, though, it's coming out of this side, which is going to have it rotating opposite of what the front is, which will really help with torque twist. On the previous axles, I don't know if you can see it here, but on this Evo Pro, you can see right here there's the raised portion for the diff. And that's where the ring or spool in the diff is. Whereas on here, you don't have that raised section on just one side. It's on both sides. It's a full case. It does mean you don't have quite as much clearance, but what it also means is you can flip your diff from side to side to get that reverse rotation output over here. Or if you want to go 6x6, if you had a 6x6 build, you would have to flip the diff pinion or spool to get it to rotate properly. And so by being able to pull this out, flip your spool, and put your diff cover back on the other side, definitely helps. But you do lose a little bit of clearance right there. You can see on the fronts, they're still like that. So if you ended up wanting to do a 6x6 with 6-wheel steering, you're still going to have a problem with the reverse rotation. So that's unfortunate. Actually, you know what? Yeah. No? Yeah, you should be able to pull these knuckles off, these C-hubs and knuckles, and throw them on this housing. I'm not sure, actually. Yeah, and then your servo tray, you might be good. You might be good to just pull the front pieces off and throw them on this rear axle housing. So yeah, something to keep in mind if you're trying to do a 6x6 with 6-wheel steering. What else we got? I think that's pretty much it on the basics here. It is a 1-speed transmission, single-speed transmission. Looks like it's the same transmission housing, though, as the 2-speed. The FX118s are built in this same way. I'm pretty sure they just take the same gearing and whatnot that's in there, and they just double it up to be able to essentially keep the gears all touching. It also increases durability, so that's nice. I just wish they would come up with a lower profile transmission for these. It's like lighter, lighter transmission. Although I don't know if you'd be able to do that with the reverse output here. You probably need to go like at least 5 gears. You couldn't use like a simple 3-gear transmission. You would probably have to go at least 5, maybe 6. I'm not an engineer, so I don't know, but you're definitely not going to be able to do it with 3 gears to get a reverse output. So they'll definitely have to have more gears for that, which makes sense, but I don't know, just on their non-2-speed models, it'd be nice to have the most simplified transmission possible with the reverse output. That would be nice. Maybe this is it, but I think, like I said, there's still all this stuff for a 2-speed. You can see there's this is where the shaft goes for the 2-speed, and I think I don't know if the fork's in there or not, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of the gears still in there, just doubled up, so they're the same gear ratios. Anyway, all right, let's move on to, I guess we'll look at this ESC and the programming card. Now, before we dive into this guy, let's go ahead and make sure we like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell. Do all those things you do for channels you want to support and videos you like that are helpful. Hopefully, this will help somebody out there as well. So let's go ahead and dive into this. So like I said, the new Lizard Lite comes with a programming card. You can still use the Bluetooth module if you have one of the older Bluetooth modules. I don't know if they still sell these. I would hope so. I'd hope they still continue selling them with this now, especially. But the original Lizards did not have the Bluetooth built in. I think even some of the early Lizard Pros did not have the Bluetooth built in. I can't remember. Either way, they do make a Bluetooth module. If you have one of these, or you can find one, you just plug this guy in here, and then you can use the Bluetooth app on your phone. Now, what comes with the RTR, like I said, is this programming card. You can see here all the different values, basically your different settings, 1 through 4, which is your motor direction, your drag brake, your low voltage cutoff, and then your BEC output for your servos. And then which setting each of those is, 1 through 4, or through 5, I guess, technically. Okay. Now, to use this, we're just going to go ahead and unplug our ESC from our receiver and plug that guy in here. You're going to plug in your signal, or yellow, on the bottom. You can see here you got the minus, the plus, and the signal, and yellow is your signal. So we'll go ahead and plug this guy in, and then we will power up our ESC. And you can see right now we are on setting 1 is set to 2. Now, if we look at our card or the sheet that they include, setting 1, which is direction, setting 2 is counterclockwise. So you'll go ahead and basically just use the up and down to change your settings. So it looks like that. Is our first LED not working? There we go. I think it actually was shorting out. Looks like our card's broken. Yeah. Well, that's no good. So there we go. So there's your setting 1. That's going to be clockwise and then counterclockwise. Okay. That shows we only have 2 settings we can do. I can't go any further. So we'll go ahead and keep it on counterclockwise, and then if I hit set, it'll move to the next. Now all 4 of these are lit up, which if we look at our sheet, all 4 lit up is full, which is 100% drag brake, which makes sense why our motor was getting warm, because our motor was getting warm while it sat here. So we're at 100% drag brake. We probably don't want that. We'll probably drop that guy down to like, let's see here, what is this, 50%? Yeah, 50% drag brake should be good. So you feel it here? Oh yeah, you can even feel it. So yeah, 50 or even 25 is plenty of drag brake. That's pretty good. So we're going to leave it on 2 for now. If we need more drag brake, we can come back. So that's going to be 25%. Our low voltage cutoff, currently we have it set to option 4, which is 3.2, which is kind of where we want to be. You can go all the way up to 3.5 if you want to cut off early, or if you are having brownouts, which is basically you'll give it throttle and the voltage will drop on your battery. So if you're running a smaller battery, like a 200 milliamp, and you full throttle it, sometimes, especially as the battery gets lower in voltage, that voltage will drop under full throttle, or when you're bound up and give it some throttle and come up against resistance, it'll drop your voltage really low. And sometimes you'll go below that 2.5 and your ESC will shut off and reset because of the low voltage cutoff. So if you're experiencing anything like that, try turning your low voltage cutoff down, or maybe even turn it all the way off to see if you stop experiencing that. Now, if you turn it off, just be aware, you could kill your battery by dropping the voltage too low. You don't want the voltage to get too low in a LiPo. Usually you don't want it to go below 3 volts or 3.2 volts. But you just keep an eye on the battery. Make sure you don't leave it, sitting for weeks with it below 3 volts. That'll be super bad. You always want to try to keep your battery, if you're storing it for a long period of time, in storage voltage or storage mode, which is 3.7 volts per cell, basically half charged. So anyway, never leave your battery at 3 volts per cell for a long period of time, or lower. It'd be bad news. Anyway, BEC cutoff here. That's going to be our next one. So we're going to leave, leave our voltage cutoff at 3.2. I like that. And setting 4 is going to be your BEC output, which right now we are at 6.5 volts. Now, this guy will only go to 6.5 because there's only 2 voltage settings for the Lizard Lite. So that's going to be a 5.5 volt or a 6.5 volt. Okay. We'll just leave it on the 6.5 since that's what this guy comes with. So it's as simple as that. If you don't have this card, it's also on the back here, which is super nice. Now I'm going to check real quick and see if this works on the other ESCs. So I figured I'd just show you real quick. I plugged it into a Python Pro just to see, and we get nothing. So I think this is only going to work on the Lizard Lite. My guess is it probably does not work on the V1 Lizards either. If you do have a V1 Lizard and you happen to get one of these, test it, put it in the comments below, and I'll pin it to the comments if it does work on any of the other ESCs. But not today, I'm not going to try to figure out which ESCs it works on. The next thing I want to kind of show you guys is how to calibrate your ESC. Since we can't calibrate it here, and you usually use the app to calibrate it, we're going to show you how to do it here without the app. And calibrating, just for those who don't know, is setting your 0 and your full throttle and your reverse. Anytime you change your ESC or anytime you get a new remote, you're going to need to calibrate. Now, these RTRs should come calibrated out of the box, but if you need to recalibrate it for some reason, or you switch remotes and you need to calibrate your endpoints, this is how you do it. Okay, it comes with a little sheet here, and it does say how to calibrate it, but we're going to go ahead and walk through it and calibrate it right now. Now, whenever I calibrate, I always turn it upside down. Just that way, if you mess up the calibration and you end up with full throttle or full reverse, for some reason, it doesn't shoot off the table on you. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to turn on your radio and move your radio throttle stick forward or reverse. Okay, then we're going to plug in our battery to our ESC, and the LED will start blinking, followed by a motor beeping sound. Then the ESC indicator will blink 4 times, and the motor will beep 4 times. So we're going to go ahead and turn this guy on, have full throttle. I don't think it matters if you do it while you're turning it on or not. Just make sure you're full throttle, and then we'll turn this on. Beep, beep, beep. That's 3. We'll keep holding it. Oh, you know what? We're not plugged in. Let's try again. So we'll go ahead and give it full throttle, turn it on. Blinked or beeped 4 times. We'll let go. Beeps once. Then we're supposed to give it full throttle again. Beeps twice and full reverse. 1, 2, 3, and then we let go again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're calibrated. And once it beeps, now you're good to go. And that gives you your full range of forward reverse. I'm going to do that one more time for you guys, okay? So we'll turn everything off. Go ahead and turn on our remote. give it full throttle or full reverse, it doesn't matter. We'll turn on our truck. Hear that 4 beeps, we'll let go. That's going to set our 0, give it full throttle. That'll set our full throttle, give it reverse. That'll set our reverse or brake. Let it go, 4 beeps and a reset. And then the motor beeps once, and now we're good. Okay, they just had to reset it there because something weird was happening. But we should be golden now. Looking good. And like I said, if you do have the Bluetooth module, we'll go ahead and plug this guy in and I'll show you real quick what it looks like if you have one of these laying around or you're able to pick one up. It is nice to be able to change all your settings right here through the Bluetooth app. Let's go ahead and go in. All right. You got your firmware update. You are going to need the Bluetooth app to be able, or the Bluetooth dongle to be able to update your firmware if there's any firmware updates. You can also change your car type from a crawler to a monster truck, which changes some of the settings from brush to brushed, brush to brushless, or brushless to brushed in this case. If you wanted to run a brush motor for some reason, you can also change your motor if you update. So if you end up updating from the Venom to a Cedar or Micro or Mini Komodo, any of these, you're going to definitely need to get the Bluetooth module to change that over. You can also change all of your telemetry and throttle curves here. You can see here we get live feedback, which is awesome. Actually, it doesn't look like you can change your throttle curve in the Lite. That's unfortunate. You do get your forward reverse, which is already in here, and your low voltage cutoff as well as your servo. Actually, this is your forward brake reverse, excuse me. So yeah, something you can't do here is get forward brake reverse if you want, or just forward with brake and no reverse. Not that you would use that, but some people do like forward and reverse with brake for monster trucks, go fast builds. Also your startup power, max forward, max reverse, max brake, and power FOC are all settings that you can change in here that you can't change with this dongle. What else we got? There's our calibration, our neutral forward, punch, neutral brake, and low speed. Again, those are things you can't do with this programming card. But pretty cool that they're going to have a budget option, and if you do have the Bluetooth module, you can use it. Did want to kind of flip through the manual here for the CR18P 2024, just so you can kind of see what's in there. You can always pause and look at anything that you wanted to look at. Something I noticed in here, let's see if I can find it. Some of the information, I believe, is for the 2-in-1 combo for the brushed motors. So if they're going to have a brushed version, I think some of this information applies to that, because there is this car lighting control section where it talks about different light modes, and that does not apply to the Furitek version because the Furitek version does not have a light controller. So just keep that in mind, that some of that information in the book may not apply to the Furitek version here. But it does have all of the breakdown of all the parts in here, which is super awesome. It shows the T-Hunter. This platform does have the T-Hunter, the new version with this new chassis and the brushless system and the reverse rotation axle and all that good stuff. Is available both in the Rushmore and the T-Hunter. So if you prefer the T-Hunter, snag one of those up. We really like the Rushmore body, though. We think it looks really good. We've always liked it, even on the older versions. We're a Bronco fan, though. I definitely like the Broncos. And the Denver Broncos, since we're in Colorado. But yeah, it's good looking rig for sure. We are plastic beadlocks here. The tires seem pretty good for ready to run tires. You know, everybody always likes to swap out their wheels and tires anyway, though. But yeah, overall, seems like a good rig. We did get a little bit of running. You saw that at the beginning, just a little bit, 2 minutes, if that, worth of running time. But we'll get some more running here in a minute for you. Just trying to think of anything else I want to show. Let me go ahead and show you the reverse rotation, just in case you don't understand kind of what that means. So see on this output shaft how it is spinning, if we look at it this way, spinning counterclockwise, right? And this output shaft on this side is also spinning counterclockwise, right? It's spinning this way. What that does is when there's a lot of torque, and maybe you have soft springs or any kind of binding anywhere, it's not totally free. If you don't have a lot of weight on the truck, you're trying to keep it nice and lightweight, which is what you should do if you're trying to stay high performance, not add too much weight. It's more about weight placement than anything. But a lighter weight rig will cause torque twist because both of your axle shafts are going to be spinning that same direction. And when the motor's trying to push these wheels forward, so the whole truck kind of spins, right? Like that, just like in a real one-to-one truck. If you have a lot of torque when that truck goes, it kind of does this. But when you're crawling, when it does that, it'll sometimes cause wheels to lift, and you don't want your tires to lift if they shouldn't be lifting just based on torque, right? It's one of those things where swapping to a reverse rotation will help that quite a bit. So you'll notice this axle or output shaft here on the drive shaft is going clockwise. That's going to help a lot with torque twist. You're not going to see any torque twist realistically. Very little if you do. There is still that force happening. The front axle still twisting this way and the rear axle still twisting that way, but at least they're counter twisting so that they will hopefully keep themselves down. When they both twist the same direction, again, it just causes the whole chassis to twist. So having it counter twist, it's going to try to keep that force contained. Yeah, so that's basically what that's about. It's definitely something that's needed in these. It's for some reason this platform has a lot of torque twist, even though it's got portals, and a lot of the gear reduction should happen in the portals. It's still, I don't know why it's got so much torque twist, but this will solve that issue. So that's awesome to see that that's included in the new platform here. Not new platform, but you know, the new updated model, updated platform. Okay. I don't know what else. Put down in the comments below if there's something that you really wanted to see. If you want to see me open these all up, I've done that in all the other videos. Here's the Evo Pro video if you want to check that out. That it gets completely opened up in there. Also, I have some FX118 videos where I open it up, and it's pretty much the same when it comes to the portals, the diffs, and the transmission. Again, the only difference here when it comes to that stuff is the axle housing is now, again, flippable. You can flip the diff inside the axle housing on the rear, not on the front, but on the rear. Okay, let's go drive it some more. Well, I hope you enjoyed some of that running footage. I did want to get it back on the bench before we ended the video and show you the battery movement, the battery tray movement. I went ahead and moved it from the back here up to the front. Now, there is a hole here, but that hole does not line up with the battery tray mount. So I'm not sure what these mounts are for. This one's also countersunk because it sits right behind the shock, right? So putting a regular button head screw in there might rub on your shock. But it does not match the lineup where the mount would go for this battery tray. So we're just going to use the one. It's plenty stable. I mean, I didn't even tighten it that much. And realistically, it's just holding the battery up from the servo. And if you look at this, we get full compression with our shocks in the stock position. We get full compression and are barely touching that battery tray. Well, we are like on this side because our shock's not mounted. But once our shock's mounted, you basically get full compression without hitting on the battery tray. So super good option for putting the battery up front. I'll go ahead and show you here. We'll throw the battery in real quick. I haven't actually put the body on, so hopefully it's still a good option. We'll see. Worst case, we can move things around. We can also spin the tray the other way, so it's back this way. If you see the tray is forward, we can spin it around and have it back. You might touch on your motor though. Worst case, you could always Dremel out just a little bit underneath the tray to get clearance for the motor. When I did put it that way just to test fit, it looked like it would have clearance, but it might touch your motor. I didn't want to fully do it. But there you go. So you get your battery in there. See it up in there? Fits perfect. Can still get our body clips in, and it's literally as forward as you're going to get. Now it's not quite as low back here. You can see this is just a little lower back here, but it does put all your weight much more forward, which would be very good. On that note, maybe we should weigh this out real quick. Let me go ahead and weigh it like this. We'll get a weight like this, and then I'll put it back, and we'll get the stock weight, just so we know the weight distribution. All right, we're all zeroed out. Let's go ahead and put this on. Now, mind you, this is with the battery mounted up front. Ooh, look at that. 5941, 426 grams, but we're a 5941 weight distribution, 50-50 left to right. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's an easy swap. Let's go ahead and put it back to stock, and we'll see what the stock is real quick. Again, 5941. All we did was move the battery to the front. Yeah, buddy. All right, let's put it back to stock real quick. All right, we got our battery back in the back. Let's put our body back on here. And here we go. 5149. So not quite that 60-40 we're looking for, almost 50-50. So that's a pretty big difference, guys. That's awesome, though. 5149 versus 5941. Yeah, I think we'll put the battery in the front. So yeah, overall pretty good. I'm definitely digging this guy. I love the body. We didn't really talk a lot about the body, but I love that it's got the molded front grille. It's actually an injection molded front grille. The lights, they're kind of a yellow, kind of that vintage look when the lights are lit up, which is awesome. Some red buckets in the back. They actually look orange here, but when they light up, they're red. And they've got the injection molded buckets. We've also got injection molded mirrors, which is nice. I kind of wish when people made mirrors, they were a little bit more flexy, like a flexible plastic, but these seem like they're really in their goods. So I'm not too worried about those breaking off, but it's always nice to have them flexy. Also, this front bumper, you do have a fair lead slot. If you put a winch back in there, wanted to mount a winch up in the front versus putting the battery there, put a winch there instead. That'd be pretty easy to do. I know there's a couple different people out there making winch mounts for the different Evo platforms or CR18P platforms. This chassis is a little different, so I don't know. Maybe it'd be mounted to the side. I'm not sure. Either way, you do have a fair lead slot there. Also, some fog lights slots if you want to put some LEDs in there. Same with the rear bumper, some slots for LEDs there. Overall, though, this truck definitely seems fantastic. You'll be able to snag these up from HeliDirect or Direct RC. We'll put links down in the description below. They're not affiliate links, so we don't make any money on them or anything, but that's just where I would recommend getting them. Direct RC is a new retailer that's going to be focusing on a lot of minis and also just anything surface based, no airplanes, nothing like that, but probably boats and lots of crawlers and bashers and stuff like that. So definitely check out Direct RC. They ship right out of Indiana, so central, so shipping time should be fast and all that good stuff. So definitely worth checking out. And yeah, this thing, it's a blast. It's fun. I definitely, again, I love the body. I've been wanting one for a while. This was a perfect opportunity to pick one up. The Venom's an awesome motor. The Lizard Lite seems to work really well, just right out of the box. You don't have to really tune it or anything like that. The only thing I would recommend is turning down the drag brake. Like I said, it's set to 100. I would put it down to 25. Honestly, it was getting kind of warm on 100, so do that. And yeah, move your battery tray forward. Yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll do some other upgrades to it and show them off and show them on the channel. Let me know what you guys would like to see or what you would do to this guy. Maybe we'll get a T100 at some point. We don't have a T100 at all. or maybe we'll just wait until a new version comes out and we'll get the T100 next time. But definitely check them out. Definitely get out there, build something awesome, build a car, build a course, build a community, and don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell, guys. We appreciate all of the viewers. We appreciate all of our channel members. Here's our channel members. They get to see all the videos early before they go live and with no ads in front of them. They also get priority responses. So if they make a comment, we will see it first. What else? I don't know. There's other perks. Hopefully we'll be doing a giveaway soon for hitting 10,000 members. When we hit 5,000, we gave away a ready to run. I think the guy ended up wanting an FX 118 because they were brand new when they came out. But any mini RTR under $200, we will send out to the winner. So keep an eye out for that video. That's why you got to make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you know when that video goes live and we announce the giveaway for our 10,000 subs. Yeah. Other than that, guys, I hope you guys do something awesome. Like I said, build the stuff and smash it, crash it, and bash it, but don't break the expensive parts. Peace.